What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Crown Cinema Podcast. In this episode, we are breaking down
and literally just watched
Braveheart. Just Mel Gibson doing Mel Gibson things.
Just Mel Gibson fighting for freedom.
Yep.
That's the thing. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're going into this movie looking for historical accuracy, go the other direction. This is a Mel Gibson film. I mean, we've covered Apocalypto, and there were so many people that were like, yeah, this film just, it doesn't know what it's talking about as far as Aztecs. Yeah, well, it's a film, and it's Mel Gibson. This is what he does. This is what he does.
Yeah. I mean, but it doesn't come off saying that it's going to be a true story. Like, it doesn't say that, like, based on a true story.
This is just a cool story, talking about and just kind of inciting the idea of, like, if you want freedom, you have to fight for it.
Yep. And it's an American movie, so they're going to put that American twist on the Scottish story.
Yeah.
It's pretty American Scottish story.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're if you're looking for historical accuracy, you're at the wrong place. But if you came for a badass film, congratulations. Kick back and enjoy the ride.
If you want to get hyped up with your buddies watching this on the couch, then you came to the right place.
Yeah, if you want to see an insane score with just like some of the craziest battle scenes, and I'll get to breaking it down here later on, but I mean, whoa. Especially for, I feel like a 1995 movie. I feel like this is a little ahead of its time with like these big battle scenes and how realistic it really looks.
You kind of like, I think a lot of movies after this, that's when the battle started, like Troy and...
Troy was what, 2002? I know it was 2000 something.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like epics in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Troy. That came out in 2004.
2004. So again, I'm just saying these fight scenes are so awesome because like I'm comparing them to Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty decent comparison. They were fucking good. I was a really big fan of these. And they were hyped. They very long sequences. They weren't just like in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Like those battle scenes definitely are kind of the key moments of I think what make this movie.
Yeah, because that's like the biggest thing that's great with the movie is the battle scenes because they're just like going into it. Mel Gibson's character, William Wallace, is not like a deep character. There's never a character change.
He's pretty black and white.
He's just the perfect man, basically. Yeah. Like there's no like complexities to his morality. He's just like good. He's gonna do the right thing. He's gonna inspire people.
Yeah,
but that's more because his character is like an idea. Like because there's. Mm-hmm. I'll get into this later, but he's more like an idea. But so the battle scenes are so great because him being a perfect leader, if you have a perfect leader, you want to see the battles being fought in a smart and creative way. Mm-hmm. And so every battle, there's a great strategy being played. That's why they always win these battles as the underdog. So there's like these great strategies that William Wallace is leading to think about how am I going to beat these Englishmen.
Yeah.
And so the way they shoot it and tell the story, they make the strategy very easy to understand, which is really, really important for the battle scene.
Yeah.
But they also edit it and shoot it in a way where it's super chaotic, yet you know exactly what's happening. There's like a lot of quick cuts. I actually saw an interview where Mel Gibson's like sitting in the editing room with the editor. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, I had a take in here where like there's this really cool shot and like something happens. He's like, yeah, I think I trimmed that down to like this much and puts his fingers up. It was like like half a second. So they, a lot of fast cuts, a lot of chaos in the background, but still you're able to see just all the gruesome, brutal hits and just seeing how savage the Scotsmen are.
It's incredible because when you're watching this, or at least for me, I'm just thinking like, how do you do this? I mean, this is insane. Apparently it took them about 6 weeks to film one of the major battle scenes. But yeah, even watching it, you can tell that they edited out like a pretty decent amount.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that Mel like held back just a little bit. Just like, I feel like this movie could have been a lot longer because of the violent sequences.
Yeah. Well, honestly, the movie, I don't think it needs to be 3 hours.
It doesn't. But again, I think the main reason for that is because the battle scenes are like a pretty long time.
Yeah. But like, I actually heard somebody break down that the entire intro, like the 15 minutes of the childhood or the kid, William Wallace growing up, that whole part of the story could be cut. Like just straight up deleted and you would never miss anything from the story. because all the things that get set up and revealed in the beginning, let me see if I can remember them all. You realize that he thinks about his brain over fighting. Like his wits are important. He gets that instilled into him by his father who died. Right before he dies, he tells him that. And then also his uncle, when he comes in, he's like, it's all about your wits.
Mm-hmm.
So that like gets reinforced. But you find that out later again. It comes up in the, later part in the movie. They're talking to William about something and he mentions to another character, like, it's not about the sword, it's about your wits.
Yeah.
So that would have shown that he thinks about his wits more. You don't really need to know that his father told him that and he got it from his childhood. And you also just see his actions are also very witty. So that could have been cut from the beginning. There's something else there.
Well, I mean, his father dying and then, his future wife giving him the flower.
Yep.
I mean, there is that.
Yep. Oh, something else. This honestly, I think would have been made the scene more powerful. When the opening scene, you see William Wallace follow his father into the cabin or the cottage where everybody's hung, like all the dead bodies are all hung. Then he explains to the princess of England what happened and why he hates the Englishman and why he's fighting. Kind of just explains it. And it would have been, I think, more powerful not knowing that happened. So you see William Wallace fighting and then he explains like, well, the Longshank guy, he hung these people who were going to surrender and blah, 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 this. So like he brings it up later. So there's no really need to show it beforehand if you're just going to talk about it later.
I don't know if I agree with that. Just, I mean, seeing the image of seeing that little boy like accidentally kind of falling into the middle of all these dead bodies.
Yeah.
And he essentially is like kind of caught in one of those like haunted houses, the mirror room when you just like keep bumping into it. It kind of reminded me of that. And so I think it does. And Mel Gibson's delivery of that line, it definitely, for me, it took me back to like, that would be pretty messed up. You'd be pretty pissed off at the king for doing that.
But
and,
it does
traumatizing you.
Yeah, it does reinforce why he's the man he is,
I get what you're saying, and I can agree to it for the most part, except for when he gives his future wife the flower back.
Right.
That wouldn't have made any sense. Mm-hmm. But then again, I guess you could have like taken that out. But I don't know. I kind of enjoy because the first 50 minutes of the film, you don't see any fighting. Really?
Damn.
Yeah. Like think about that. I'm trying to think if I'm actually wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct.
Then it's just battle.
Yeah, it's the first 50 minutes. It's actually like kind of a time of peace. Like everybody's doing good.
Yeah, I'm scrolling here. We're at 40 minutes. Wife gets killed around 40. Yeah, 50 minutes in, he attacks after
so that's when 50 minutes. And this is this is very violent film, but takes you 50 minutes. But I kind of enjoy that because it kind of gives you the whole, yes, you see some violence, you see some pretty awful things for his childhood, and you see the Englishmen and how they treat everybody badly. But it's not until that 50-minute mark, almost an hour, when you realize like, oh, this movie is about to be insane and bloody and gory.
Right.
And another thing that I want to point out, at least the way that I saw it, is that for the first 50 minutes, especially with when it's showing like King Henry and his son, or just like when they're kind of around the table discussing battle plans, like all this, it kind of looked like it was shot in like this 60s, 70s way. It just like looked like an old timey film. But then, and it just kind of leading up to it, it's just kind of like, oh, this movie's not going to be too bad. How bad could it get? Mel Gibson's falling in love. Like you have no idea how violent it's going to get. And even when when William Wallace's wife, when her throat is cut at the stake, they don't even show it.
Right.
Then Mel Gibson like totally changes the movie because it just gets so violent. I mean, he hits the dude in the face with like nunchucks. And then he stabs the guy with the antlers in the neck, and that looks brutal. Yeah. Then he chops off a dude's leg.
Yes.
And you're just kind of like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
Like there's legs being chopped. I just feel like in 1995, I don't know if people have really seen violence like that
Well, definitely just from what
like
you've seen in
that.
the movie, it's
Right.
pretty light
Yes.
until the savagery comes out.
So, and then when it's all said and done, the man who kills his wife, when he slits her throat, remember, they don't show it. But then when William Wallace slits his throat,
Yep.
they show it.
Yep.
So it's like, no, the movie just changed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I love that.
That's what I love about his character, because he is a perfect character, doesn't really change, but because outsider in the movie, not actually thinking about the story, just being an audience member, you know Mel Gibson's going to fuck some shit up. It's Mel Gibson. The movie's called Braveheart. He's a Scottish warrior.
Yeah.
You're waiting for the
Look
violence.
at that. Look at that face paint.
Exactly.
Come on.
You're waiting for the violence.
Yeah.
And so when it's all soft, you're like, you liking him. He's funny. He's a good guy. He's falling in love. But then when you watch him get wronged in such a brutal fashion, you're like, let's go. I cannot wait to see him in the second scene. And it makes these badass moments so impactful, because after the wife gets killed, you're immediately like, oh shit, wait until William Wallace finds out about this.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mel Gibson, knowing the audience is thinking that, he just cuts it to like a slow-mo of him fucking walking up. And it's like such a long drawn out thing, because you're like, it's all the anticipation of you waiting for him to like just fucking murder everybody.
Yes.
And then he does in just stylistic fashion.
And he delivers.
Yeah.
It's so badass.
But kind of touching back on the fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a smart guy. So he's all the strategy. He's flanking people. He's doing the spears. You know, all that stuff is great strategy. And it's also easy for the audience to understand, like we were saying before that. And so like because this kind of ties in what we were just saying, how he just like wipes everybody clean, like the entire movie. From the first time he fights, which is after his wife gets killed, brutal savagery.
Mm-hmm.
And then every battle after that, it's like 2 or 3 battles where he wins, right?
The major ones, yeah. And then it kind of like cuts showing that they're just kind of like, they're winning everything that they get.
Yeah, so they're on a tear. So you're kind of like, damn, when are they going to, like, he is a perfect character. They're winning the battles pretty flawlessly. The course characters getting killed, but none of the major characters are getting killed.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of like, okay, I guess they're just going to wipe the English clean. Like, holy shit. But they use the fact that they have told the story well with the strategizing of the battle scenes of, you know, the spears and the flanks, to whenever they do get betrayed, when they're about to crush, they think they're about to win the entire deal. They're going to kill the King of England. It's going to be a badass victory. And then when you see the betrayal of the flank not coming into flank, you're kind of like, oh fuck, like that's the only way they've been able to win.
Yeah.
Because they've had these strategies, but like once one piece of the strategy, that's how like, not frail, but like their plan is very fragile.
Yeah.
Because everything needs to line up into play in order for them to win, because they're such a big underdog.
Yeah.
And so when you see one plan finally not actually come to fruition of the plan, then you're like, damn. And they just get fucking crushed.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah. The nobles, man. That was one thing that I guess I just like kind of kept getting confused about. I think William Wallace he's clearly like a very intelligent individual. It just really sucks to see him get betrayed like 3 times by the same group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then he keeps walking back into the dining hall after surviving their betrayal tactic. And, you know,
I guess it's just because he doesn't have a choice.
That's what I'm saying. He's
little amount of
intelligent.
people.
You know, he just wants to kill them.
Yeah.
But he's like, damn it. Like for some reason, like y'all have so much power all over these common people that I can't just ride in on a horse and kill you. At least not after the first or second time.
Yeah.
And after the third time, I'm gonna start taking some lives.
Start chopping some heads off.
Yeah. But yeah, dude. But then speaking of traitors, you know, I love Robert the Bruce's character. I don't know who that actor is, but he's good. I thought he was really good.
Angus MacFadyen.
Wait, no. I do recognize him.
He's been in...
Oh, he was in Robert the Bruce, 2019. That's got to be some sort of sequel.
Yeah, that's got to be a sequel.
Yeah, I might check that out. I do love the conflict of his character. I love, like, as an audience, you're just like, damn, like he keeps trying to do the right thing, but he's confused because he's like, damn, do I go out as a brave man and potentially like destroy my family lineage, or do I hold on to it? that's a tough conflict, I would imagine. It's like, yeah, like I want to do the right thing for my people now, but I also like want to protect my children and grandchildren like down the line, which is what his dad did. His dad clearly has made sacrifices. His dad has clearly betrayed people.
Yeah.
And I love the scene of after Robert and William like shake hands, you know, for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes up to his dad's quarters immediately and he's just like, fuck, like I just gave my word. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, he's getting all teary eyed and his dad's like, listen, like we have to survive. This is the right thing to do. He will die. Like you will die with him if you choose to side with him. And I love that Robert it almost looks like he breaks the fourth wall because he's turned away from his dad while his dad's talking. And he's like damn near looking at the camera with tears in his eyes.
I did notice that. It was a little bit awkward because you were kind of like, wait, is he looking at him or not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he's looking at the camera. And
but I meant like, is he faced that way or not? Because it's
it is a little confusing. Yeah. But no, I like that though, because it's almost like he's looking at the audience like, fuck guys, like I keep trying. Like I'm sorry I keep letting y'all down because you keep waiting for him to be
the good guy.
The one that will stand up to the nobles and be like, you guys are not Scots.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was pretty cool because that has to be done on purpose. Like Mel Gibson, like kind of choosing that camera angle and having the actor like I don't think he's looking directly at the camera,
but it's close.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciated that a lot.
I love that the contrast between all the belief systems of these characters, because it kind of has like a multi-layered thing with the way that William Wallace was raised, the way that the Bruce, what's his name? Robert the Bruce,
yeah.
The way Robert the Bruce was raised, and then plus how the king has kind of lived his life, the King of England. And so, because Mel Gibson, he lost his father when he was a young boy. When he first meets his uncle says, well, that's how we lost our father.
It was the same for me and your daddy when our father was killed.
So as a kid, you know, you're impressionable as a kid. He's grown up knowing that you fight for what you believe in and you're not going to live a long life. You have a strong chance of not living a long life. His uncle lived a decently long life. Like he was an old man.
Yeah. And I don't think we ever find out, but it looks like he has left and come back to his village probably after like the passing of his uncle.
Yeah,
which means they made it like a pretty decent amount of time.
I mean, yeah, they went to Rome. He learned Latin. He did,
you know what I mean?
Learned French.
Yeah.
And so that's just the way that he was raised. So his belief system is you fight for what you believe in, and you may not live a long life, but at least you'll live a life that's fulfilling and meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice all the other characters like Robert the Bruce and his father has not fought for what he believed in, as in like your morals, not like his moral compass isn't pointing north, right? And so he's lived a long life, yet he's dying and sickly. It's been like a long life of misery.
Yeah.
Which is what William Wallace believes. It's like, we could live a long life. He said, but you're going to be on your deathbed one day and you're going to be like, damn, I should have fought for my freedom.
Aye. Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live at least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
Yeah, like, damn, I was a slave underneath this kingdom. And then the king, same as him, he's also he's kind of selfishly fighting for like the old school way of Scotland, I guess, and oppressing people. And so again, he's dying and miserable through most of the movie. You start noticing his cough as he starts to get more evil.
Very true, yes.
So it's just that cool symbolism of like the sickness of the people that are wanting to live a long life through betrayal and fucking people over, versus William Wallace, who's thriving, risking his life for his beliefs.
Doing well with the ladies too.
Yep, he got 2 dime pieces in Scotland back in the day.
Bro, you bagged the future Queen of France.
Luckiest man alive. Bro, when he walks in to go meet the ladies, they are horned up, ready to attack him.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh my God, there he is. That's William Wallace. Holy fuck.
Yeah, they're straight up like they're whispering about him in the castle. She's like, can you imagine a love like that? She was like, how can I?
Yeah.
Like I'm married to a gay guy.
This is just a dude's movie, bro, where you
It
see the
truly
protagonist walk in and the women are just like, oh my God.
Oh yeah,
That's William Wallace.
Mel Gibson's target audience is very clear. It's
Yes.
it's made for American men.
Yes,
and
1000%.
Scottish men.
Well, I think Scottish men actually hate this movie because
Really?
of the inaccuracy. Just not true at all.
Yeah, it's so not true.
Because I learned this, that they don't even wear kilts. At this time period, kilts, they would look just like the Englishmen.
yes, they like had the same armor, everything. Yeah.
But I mean, if you're doing it for an American audience at the time, like you got to separate them somehow.
Yeah, you got no.
Our
It's
idea of
literally
Scotland is that.
it's literally the American Revolution, but now it's in Scotland.
Yeah.
It's still against the English, but
Yeah.
now it's just Scottish
It's
people.
basically the same premise as The Patriot.
Oh, it's insane. It is
Family man that doesn't want to fight that ends up just fucking destroying the military.
Yeah, the English take something from him. Like they take a family, a loved one from him. And so he's just forced to fight. But then he ends up being this insane badass who's like smart, but knows how to fight, knows how to give good speeches. It really is The Patriot.
Yeah.
Now, I can't remember how The Patriot ends. Don't spoil it for me. I'm actually really excited for
actually,
that one.
I've never actually even seen The Patriot. I've just
Oh.
know of it.
It's been a few years for me. But yeah, I just know like I'm pretty sure in The Patriot, like he has a family member that dies.
Yeah.
And then
I think it's his wife, probably.
I believe so. Or maybe his son. Or maybe because Heath Ledger's his son in that movie. Anyways, we'll get to that one eventually.
Yeah.
But essentially, yeah, like he's avoiding the Revolutionary War. All these I think he's a veteran. And everybody knows that he's a really good fighter. He's like a good shooter, whatever. And so they're trying to get him into it. And he's like, no. I'm with my family. And we're going to live a peaceful life. And we want to stay out of this war because there's no way we win. They're like, but don't you want to be free? He's like, I want peace.
Yep.
Then family member dies. And he's like, saddle up, Heath.
Freedom!
Yeah. Yeah. So it is funny. I mean, Mel Gibson clearly has a theme for like these movies.
Yep.
And it's awesome. Who's really going to be like, oh, he only talks about freedom? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
What else is there to talk about
Yeah.
in American filmmaking?
And also the writer of it is the screenwriter for Braveheart.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very like Christian writer who just admits that his faith is the main driver behind his work.
Yeah.
That's why there's that like Christian symbolism at the end whenever William Wallace dies, and why he is a perfect character, because it's, again, the guy's writing the character as an idea. You know, he's the perfect version of this thing to inspire the country to, take over Scotland.
Yeah, because William Wallace, I did like just a little bit of research. I mean, they know that he's a real person, but like really one of the only things ever written about him was a poem.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't want to say the only things, but one of the main things is like a poem that ended up being a huge legend for Scottish folks.
Mm.
Again, we might have a lot of Scots coming after us after this one.
Mm-hmm.
We might have a lot of people saying like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I saw that some people didn't like his accent. I thought he killed it. I thought you only really heard Mel Gibson's voice happen like 3 times in this movie.
Yeah. And also, I mean, he's a country.
He's a damn good actor.
Yeah.
He really is. Bro.
Well, honestly, though, in this movie, he said that because he directed it, obviously, so they would shoot a take. He'd go back and watch it. And he said if it wasn't half bad, I would just be like, I'll do one more for safety and let's move on.
Nice.
It's like, because like there's some acting with him where it's like a little odd, it seems to me. Some scenes he's killing it. No
I think
doubt.
I think the end scene. We'll save the end scene for later on.
I think it's the opening. It's like sometimes when he's like doing his eyes, he's kind of like a little jerky with the movements a little bit. Or his eye, he's like, I don't know. It's just something
I
at the
think that's
beginning.
done on purpose because like when he gets back to the village, he's lived this full free life with his uncle. They've traveled to some really cool places. He's probably been through some crazy stuff. He knows 3 languages. So like when he arrives to the village, he's looking to start a family, settle down, but like he's still just excited to live, like, the whole thing. And he's coming back to a place that he knows is full of death, at least for his past. And he's like, no, I'm going to make things different here. I'm going to raise a family. It's going to be a good life with a good wife. And like, he's excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of saw like the boyish excitement
Sure.
in that.
Yeah. I don't think it was bad. I'm just saying, like, there's definitely better scenes than there are other scenes, I think, where you can kind of maybe tell he's acting a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, he doesn't ruin the movie one bit. I'm not saying it was horrible.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
I mean, this won 5 Academy Awards.
Which is crazy for the story.
One Best Picture.
Right.
One Best Picture.
Which
it's
is
a
just,
pretty simple story too. So like I get what you mean.
The big thing is just that he doesn't change. Like the character, like I was watching it like, okay, I think maybe they're planting a seed for this to happen. And then like, no, he's just same old man.
I mean, he did tell his wife that he would never love another woman again. And then he has sex with the future queen of France.
Yep. He just did that to get back at him. He's like, I'm going to bag your woman, bitch.
I think it was that. And I mean, yeah, it had to be almost strategical.
That's another criticism is that whole plot line did not need to be in the movie.
Yeah.
The only thing it
that
does.
one kind of makes sense.
The only thing it does is it just like lets William Wallace have the upper hand in some sneak attacks that are being planned.
Yeah. She saves his life twice. Well, no, she tries to save it the first time, but the king has already sent troops and somehow he gets out
Actually,
of that.
no, she saved him the first time. The second time was when it got sketchy, I think.
No, the second time is whenever he was going into a meeting with some people and the Englishmen were in the small little house.
Yeah.
And they locked them in and burned them.
Right.
And then it's revealed that she told him it was a trap. The first time she was saying the king wants peace, yada, yada. And like, here's gold.
Yeah.
And
no, but she sent him a note after that, remember?
You're right.
Yeah. Her little friend
Yep.
gave him a note.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's important.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like the love story is strictly there to only, like there's nothing else gets added to the storyline because they don't even like get together at the end. Obviously he dies and like there's no like real.
Spoiler alert.
If you're watch this and not expecting spoilers, you're crazy. But the love story doesn't like, it's not built up. It's literally just there just to give him some outs in some tricky situations.
No, it's to make Mel Gibson look like the damn man.
Yeah.
This is to make the alpha male. This is to make every man feel like the alpha male.
Yep.
On top of the fact, it's interesting that they took that approach anyways, because as far as we all know, historical accuracy is not what we're looking for in this movie. But if you were, apparently during the timeline of William Wallace and when William Wallace would have been doing this and the Princess of France.
Yes.
She was 9.
Yep. Also, yeah.
But Mel Gibson said, no, make her of age.
Make her 21 and smoking hot.
I'm not showing you Hollywood yet.
Yeah.
No, it's, I do kind of appreciate that Mel Gibson was like, no, like, he has to bag the Princess of France.
Yeah, after his wife
she
gets
has to
killed.
be married to a gay Englishman that nobody likes.
Yeah.
And he has to put a baby in her because fuck the English.
Yeah, they make that the prince the biggest pussy on the planet.
If you're if you are an Englishman in this movie, I think kind of like the Patriot, you're either a big pussy or a huge dick.
Yep.
Mel
Evil,
Gibson clearly has something against the English.
I mean, the king is just straight up evil. Like, never does one good thing.
He never says one nice thing.
No.
Not once.
Straight up evil. And then it's also like kind of like a good contrast, for the story that. So it's clearly Mel Gibson's trying to say a message here with, fighting against tyranny, staying true to freedom is better than, conceding to tyranny. And so he, like with how he sets the story up, it gives a message that tyranny is actually weak. Like the basis of it is actually weak, but the belief system in freedom is actually really strong if you can get everybody rallied together. Like you can actually beat tyranny no matter how strong you think it is, because in reality there's a lot of cracks. Like the prince is about to come in, is super weak, and he's not going to be able to lead his country. The king is dying.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are all betraying and not wanting freedom, they're all sickly and dying, and they don't even have like the support of their citizens, of all the countrymen. They like leave to fight. I'm not fighting this shit. I'm going home.
Right.
So all those people, the tyranny and the people that give in to tyranny are actually very weak. So if you can just stand up and be strong, you can fucking fight that shit back.
Yeah, that's the most brutal part. Just to this film. Again, historical accuracy, wrong. But in this film, it does suck to see that like they were so close. William Wallace was so close. The king was damn near dead, which I don't know how that news wouldn't get out. But again,
what do you
like
mean?
you just don't want to nitpick it. Like if you know that the king of England is about to die and everybody knows that the prince is not only gay, which is probably just a big no-no back then,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Well, mainly because if you need an heir,
Yeah.
right, to keep the
Yeah.
royal family alive.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
There's that, but not only is he gay, which is a big no-no to them, but he's also just like unlikable. You
Yeah.
know, he's got a temper tantrum.
Yeah,
He's
just weak.
clearly like he's just clearly hiding behind daddy's throne. So if you did know that the king was about to die, and then you did know who the next king was going to be, if I'm the Scots, I'd be like, let's go.
Right.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you know, I don't want to nitpick.
But they might not have known. I don't think word might travel like that. You know, they might not know who the next king is.
Yeah. But why? I don't know. I also, not trying to nitpick it too much, but I'm just saying if the princess has been doing all these favors, passing all these messages, why would she not like tell William like he's almost out? Like you just got to hang on just a little bit longer and then you
Right.
can launch a full-fledged invasion. People will back you.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty true. Yeah.
But if you do that, it turns into a 5-hour movie. So I guess.
Now just say 5 months later and
Yeah.
let's see William Wallace destroy England.
Yeah.
But honestly, like with this character, I think we keep saying how he doesn't change. He's the perfect character. But in order to really get the country to all believe in William Wallace, I think in reality, he has to be the perfect representation of freedom and fighting for freedom.
Yeah.
So that's the only way you have to be the leader of a country that's leading a revolution against a giant empire. I guess on the island, you got to fucking be about it, you know, and he is pure about it. My favorite scene with him being about it is whenever, I think it's the first battle, and it's whenever they're going to do their treaty. The king's going to give their terms, and they're going to go in and maybe agree to the terms, whatever the king says when they're fighting. I think it's the first battle with England. So the 3 noblemen roll up, and then William Wallace comes in, and instead of like standing in front of them, he like walks behind them, like doing circles around him. He's like, I have an offer for you. You know, he's like, I don't fuck your offer. Like, I'm giving you an offer, motherfucker. Just pure badassery.
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie is, you know, again, like I said, kind of based on a poem about a larger-than-life character that started this huge movement and then ultimately led to the freedom of this country. Now, it's cool because Robert the Bruce actually does, like, he's the one that ultimately gets them to be their own country. But yeah, with William Wallace, that's just the whole thing. It's like based off of a poem, larger-than-life character. So when you put that on the big screen, he damn near has to be perfect, especially if you're going to go with the imagery of him looking like Jesus Christ on that cross.
Yeah.
That is almost blasphemy, except in the movie world, this guy's actually pretty much a perfect character.
Yeah.
So it's the only reason I think you can kind of get away with that.
The only thing he's not perfectly moral on is like how brutal he is in battle. But he's also fighting the worst people in the movie. Like these are all the really bad guys. So you want him to brutally murder these people.
Yeah, which again goes to show like he's pretty much it's a borderline religious battle. Like because in this film world, not what was really going on, you've got the Englishmen who are pretty much just working for the devil. I mean, he's sacrificing them. He doesn't care about them. He doesn't even care about women and children.
He would rather send his men in to die than use arrows because arrows are more expensive than the men.
Yes. Arrows and supplies cost money, but the death costs nothing, which isn't even true unless he just doesn't give funerals to his soldiers, which would be insane. And how could any kingdom... Anyway.
It's definitely more money to have to train a new people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how military tactics work.
Death does cost money.
Yeah.
But damn, what was my point? Hold on. Okay. So it's showing that Englishmen like fighting for a king that's super evil, yada yada. And like the whole, what's it called? The order Primo Nocta.
Oh yeah, Prima Nocta. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, look that up. That's literally as bad as it gets. Which again, not a true thing. The English are like did not actually do this.
Yeah, Prima Nocta.
Prima Nocta. This is like a medieval barbarian. Nobody even knows if it was actually ever. Nobody even knows if it really ever happened. But like the idea, but the English king making this a thing, that's like the most evil thing you could ever do. Is saying, yeah, like I'm going to come into your town, and anytime there's a wedding, my nobles get to have sex with the wife.
It's just pure emasculation of the men.
Yeah,
it's like such an ego thing. Like, I'm better than you. I'm the alpha dog.
Well, and breeding wise, you know, because that's the worst part is that like,
oh yeah, you
get married and now you're gonna have to raise the child of an Englishman. That's where it's like obviously like the raping of the wife is terrible.
Yeah,
but like what they're really doing is
spreading their seed amongst the village.
Yeah, so it does go in line with like Mel Gibson, William Wallace's character. He's wanting to lead these people because he does want to live a peaceful life of freedom with just wife, kids, everything. He's like, I've prayed to God about it.
Yeah.
And then his buddy, what's his buddy?
You might sound more Scottish than he does in the movie.
You think so?
Yeah.
Nice. But his buddy, he's like, that's a load of horse shit. Like, you just want to hang out with the French. You just want a French wife.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, that whole freedom thing is just like a dream. And he was like, what? What have we been doing this entire time?
Yeah.
And so it kind of goes back to what you were saying with like the different levels of characters. William Wallace literally is fighting for freedom. And for me, that interaction, like right before he ultimately gets captured by the Englishman, when he's fighting with his best friend, and his friend says that, I was like, wait, they might just be fighting because they like to fight.
Right. Or they kind of believe in it, but when it gets down to the wire, it's kind of like shit. But William Wallace has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
He has literally nothing to lose.
Yeah.
He lost his wife. His father's gone. We assume his uncle's dead. Some of his friends have died in battle. Mm-hmm. So and he's not going to like live for his friends. So he's like, I will sacrifice myself.
And they can't just give up at this point. You can't walk away. Like the Englishmen are just going to hunt you down for the rest of your life anyways.
Yeah, you're so close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, it'll be way worse. If you lead a revolution, they're going to crack down hard as fuck to stop a revolution from ever happening again. So it's like, this is our one chance. We've already started it. You motherfuckers better bring me to this finish line.
Yeah.
Yeah, great movie. It's just a good bro movie. I don't think it's like a cinematic masterpiece outside of the battles of cinematic masterpieces. I will concede there. The battle scenes are perfect. Yeah. But, you know, there could have been some better things with the storyline or whatever, but you want to read it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, join us for rating Braveheart. The 5 categories are acting, writing, editing, cinematography, and enjoyability, all out of 10. Add them up, divided by 5, and that is your total score. Oh, yeah. I outlined what each number means. Like for me, to make it make some more sense, like 5 is mid, 7 solid, 10 is the GOAT.
So what's a 6?
6 is between mid and solid.
Yeah.
All right, what you got?
I'm going to give this a 7.2 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah, I think acting, 8 out of 10. Pretty star-studded cast, all things considered. You definitely saw a lot of familiar faces in this one, and I thought they all brought it well, even though it's pretty much just the Mel Gibson show.
Yeah.
Writing, 6 out of 10. I'm kind of with you. You know, it's pretty black and white story.
It ain't a Dune Part 2 character arc into power.
Yeah, I mean...
Just cool.
I mean, it's just... I'm not saying it was mid. I'm not saying it was solid. I'm saying it's in between that.
Yeah.
Editing, 7 out of 10. I'm not that opposed to how long this movie was. And I just watched it back-to-back times. And I enjoyed it. Like, you know, it wasn't it's not like it was a grueling process to get through it the second time.
Right.
Cinematography, 7 out of 10. I think it was cool seeing Scotland.
Yep.
I think they did a good job of showing some of that, just like the big scenes, the battle scenes. Obviously, you get to see the land. But then the rest of it, like, I just don't think there were any like incredible shots.
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve again, Dune Part 2.
Yeah, which is really, I feel like that's what you really try and break down.
Yeah.
But because there's just not much to go off of.
There may be that I just missed, but I don't think it's like super, super intentional.
No,
like
exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty.
It's just telling the story in the most clear way. It's not like, yeah.
Enjoyability though, 8 out of 10. Like it's a fun movie. I'm an American 25-year-old guy, and I feel like this movie was literally made for me to enjoy.
Yep.
So yeah, that comes out to a 7.2 out of 10. It's solid enough.
Yep. I got a 7.3 on it. Acting 7, solid. Writing 6 out of 10. Again, there's not like that much depth. It's just like a simple character, but you got to give them props. They somehow made it enjoyable and not like, okay, come on.
Yeah.
Despite not having a character really change, it's still cool to see Mel Gibson thrive.
Yeah.
Editing 8 out of 10. I think the battle scenes are just like perfectly put together. The way they like lead things up, the way they like when you rewatch the battles, like the lead up to the first impact, it gets drawn out with like such a great way where you just like can see the build up. Like you see like just the reverse shots, and then like as they start to clash together, and then you see him running again. It's just like great editing with the fight scenes, and then the rest of the movie is pretty good editing. Cinematography 7 out of 10. I think it's just solid. I do love how they show Scotland because it's like the opening just gives you the beautiful landscapes of Scotland because it wants the audience to recognize how beautiful the land is that these characters are going to fight for. So it sets you up where you're like, damn, that land is beautiful. Like I'd fight for that land too. And then enjoyability, 8.5 out of 10. It's always fun to watch Braveheart every once in a while. The fun one to watch the battles. And again, it was made for us.
Yeah.
So 8.5. So give it a 7.3 out of 10 total score.
All right. Yeah. It looks like we're on the same page with this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like most people will be. You either appreciate that it's a pretty good film, all things considered, or you hate it.
Yes.
I think I don't.
If you're a nerd, you hate it.
You heard it here first.
That wasn't historically accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I actually know I'm probably completely wrong on that. There's probably so many people that love the fuck out of this movie. Which, hey, more power to you.
No, people do. People love this movie. People love and hate it.
Yeah. So good for you. For me, it's a fun one. And I mean, Mel Gibson is like he clearly shows the kind of man he is with the movies that he's made, to where it's just not a surprise when I go into these films now.
Right.
I'm like, of course this is a Mel Gibson film. Duh.
It's very point of view. It's like very much his beliefs, which is how an artist, I mean, you can't really separate like the art from the artist, really. It's like that.
Mel
They're putting their own
Gibson
perspective.
makes a movie exactly how he does it.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's just nothing, you can't criticize that. Not in my opinion. It's just how he chooses to make movies. And I kind of appreciate it. Especially in a world today where you just have so much like, yeah, this movie gets a little gruesome. It's violent. The fight scenes can be all that. But I don't know, like today you can just see, they overdo it. They go over the top sometimes, especially like with sex scenes nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just full-fledged fucking.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate this movie. It's like, yeah, you don't need to see the whole thing to like understand what just happened.
You're right. Just show a little titty, a little side boob, and then we know it. We know what went down.
We're good. So like, I'm a fan, Mel. I'm a fan.
Yeah. He just knows how to make these epic movies.
Oh, yeah.
And also like, what's just great, the great touch in the movie is how when there are fight scenes of violence, they just have these flashes of just pure brutality.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fucking, when he rides the horse up on the guy's bed and he smashes his face with like the wrecking ball type thing.
We're laughing so hard at that because there are some times in the battle scenes where you can see that Mel made the choice of not showing like a man's head being bashed into the ground.
Right.
But
then sometimes he does.
Or like cutting. There's one part where one of the characters, I think it's the one that's super into talking to the father in heaven.
The Irishman.
You can see that he's got like this like gutting blade and it looks like he's about to cut a man from
The bottom up.
Yeah, from the bottom up. But you don't see it. And then all of a sudden you just get the random shot of a guy getting his entire face smashed into a pillow.
Actually, that whole scene, like whenever that guy, right before the Irishman does that, that's like the most brutal, like 20 seconds of the whole fight. Like these,
Yeah, because you see other characters, like it is fingers chopped off.
yeah, you're seeing hands, you're seeing legs, hands. You see like a giant sledgehammer hitting a guy in the head, and then blood splatters out of his helmet. You're like, God damn.
Mel Gibson actually hired like people from the Scottish army, the Scottish military
really?
as extras. Yeah.
Right there, straight to the chest. Oh, this stab here, brutal. Right in the eye, brutal. Throat, fucking spitting up blood. The pure joy on his face.
Yeah.
I love this too. Just quick, easy. No chance. No fucking chance. I think he's coming up with a slice between the legs.
Mel Gibson can show you violence.
Oh, and it's great.
This guy made Passion of the Christ, which, you know what, brings me to something that I do want to talk about, is the ending.
Yeah.
He could have shown some really messed up stuff there.
Yeah.
He definitely
what happened in real life to William Wallace?
What I read was that when William Wallace was captured, his death was like brutal. He was dragged through the town on a horse. Then he was tied up. They cut his genitals off.
Jesus.
Then they cut his stomach open and pulled all of his intestines out.
They hint, that's happening in the movie because whenever the little dwarves are doing a little show, they're pulling the rope out of the guy's belly. Air quote.
So that he does kind of give you like insight, and I think that's also what's happening to him. So then they pull his insides out, then they cut his arms and legs off, and then they finally take his head off.
Brutal.
So it's as brutal as it possibly gets, but it's just like Mel Gibson definitely made the decision of like, we don't need to do that. With Passion of the Christ, I think that was different because of the entire idea for what Mel Gibson was doing.
And you can't
with that film.
can't do Jesus' story and then not show it.
The whole,
That's the whole point.
Exactly. And so it's just, I appreciate it, Mel, because that would have been like shocking.
Well, because it also,
I don't think the movie would have been made if he had actually like shown it.
Not showing it also keeps William Wallace's dignity a little bit, whereas he still is perceived as powerful because like after he dies, freedom, inspires the Scottish.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to keep his dignity to let that idea continue and to flourish after he's gone within Scotland. So you don't want to see him getting his insides ripped apart and just being like, just like literally getting tortured to death. Like that's, you see him fucking taking it. You're imagining what's happening, but you see is just his face just like eating it, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that. And I'm like, wow, oh God.
Yeah.
I honestly, his friends' faces, I don't know. I think they're kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, they were like, fuck,
they were
say
like,
mercy, fucking
hell. They were like, holy shit, like that could have been us. Like we did all that for that. Ew, God.
Yeah. Also just shows why William Wallace is the man, why he's the leader.
Yep.
Taking it and still screaming freedom as his last words.
Yep.
Yeah, but badass movie.
You got any final thoughts?
Freedom! No.
My final thoughts, there's this South Park episode where Mel Gibson, like he's just addicted to like trying to get people to torture him. And I never really understood it because this is the first time I've seen this movie. It was this week. And now that I've seen the movie, I get it.
Ha! So you do intend to torture me, huh? Well, go ahead. Do your worst. You still won't get your ticket money back. I can take whatever you can dish out.
We don't want to torture you.
Well, go ahead. I just sure hope you don't use those whips over there on the wall.
Does he get tortured in The Patriot?
I really can't remember. I'm excited for that one, bro. Like I kind of forgot how that one goes. Kind of like you with Braveheart this time.
I did. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Anyway. All right. That's all you got for Braveheart?
Yeah. I mean, that's it.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Comment below your thoughts on Braveheart. Don't forget to send us in your score. We always love seeing what you guys rate these movies. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to leave us a review. And we will catch y'all next week. We are out.
Trying to buy my next meal. Seems all I do is drive. And when the boss man sends my next check in the mail, I'll have enough for closing time. And I've been cussing like a sailor since I ran out of weed.